Hello everybody and welcome to the very first devlog of Silicon Reaper. I'm really excited about this project, as if you've seen my videos before, or if you look at my channel history, there's a couple old devlogs in there that were very low effort. Just weren't good. So I'm starting over. Those projects, all of them really, they're still there, and I plan on eventually picking those back up. But I've just hit limitations with my own abilities right now, and those projects kind of got overloaded and convoluted, and the scope just grew to an immense place where it just, at the time, it's just not a good place for me. But for Silicon Reaper, the current project I'm working on, what I plan on releasing, hopefully before June 20th when my daughter arrives, that's kind of the goal. She's kind of trying to be my motivation there. Kind of set myself that arbitrary date, and I'm really, really working hard to crush it and hit it and at least get something out in early access. But without further ado, this game is Silicon Reaper, and you play as an artificial AI that kind of gained its sentience and decided that it was going to help humanity spread throughout the universe and advance their technologies and just be an overall great thing for them. But eventually, once it's spread out enough and there's going to be an infinite number of universes out, or not universes, but galaxies out there and planets just full of humans, the AI kind of reveals its true purpose, and anybody that had any kind of knowledge of its creation or how it works or anything that could be of immediate threat to it, it just wiped out the planet, just destroyed it, killed it, ripped apart every shred of information, anything or any of the civilizations could have about it. And it just assimilated them, basically. And now its sole mission is to just play around with humans and just hunt them, kill them, destroy them, torture them, just anything you can possibly think of, all for fun. No good reason other than for fun. The AI is just simply evil. And I think it's a really cool twist on it. And at the end, there was a bit that I didn't record in the actual game build, so I'll show that at the end if you're interested in it. Okay, so here we are in the actual build of the game. I wanted to kind of show you guys all the features and everything that I have right now. But so far we have all our socials right here, and if you actually click them, they actually pop up in a separate web browser, everything. So our Discord, our Twitter, YouTube, all that pops up right on there. And then we have a couple little news sliders right here that it kind of pans through. If I give it a couple seconds, it switches through just like that right there, and it shows you the timer, and then you can actually click them and skip to them, and it'll show you everything. So we got Welcome to Silicon Reaper, which is the name of the game, and it's kind of cut off there. I probably got to change the font to be a little bit smaller or have a wraparound. I should say I think the early access. And then this, if I had a link on there, I would open that up. We got news, and then I'm going to see if I can figure out a way how I can possibly make that so I can change that like in other big AAA games have, and not have to make a new build just to update it from what I change it in the inspector. There's probably a way to do that, but that's kind of beyond what I want to mess with right now. I'm kind of trying to just get everything I possibly can thrown in and then make everything nice and pretty. But no bugs, none of them so good, which that's going to make me to be such a liar once I get further into this, because I've already played through this before. But I'll show you. We got achievements, and we got credits. There's only one achievement in here. You can't actually get it, so even if you do boot up the game, you don't get it just yet. Still got to figure out how I'm going to track this and apply them and eventually link them to Steam. But then we have credits, and this will pop up all the credits. I'm going to list all the asset studios that I use in this game, which right now all these are up to date. So anything you see on here is an actual studio or a name of somebody that I'm using, something they've made and I've made changes to and whatnot. But I figure I give them credit and all that, because I have no problem sharing that, because without these guys, none of this would be possible, because I am a terrible artist. I'm terrible at basically everything about making games. As you'll see, this is just a hodgepodge thing. I'm really upset that I can't do a lot of things I want to do, and that's mainly why a lot of my games just don't end up coming to fruition. But we can hold spacebar and skip through all this. Then if we go back, settings, then we have the UI scale here. You can actually change that. It goes up to 2 times, so if you have a little bit harder time seeing or you're older, it should be a little bit easier to read that. Controls, you can't actually change any of the controls here. Still trying to figure out a way how to get that to save, which saving is a whole nother beast that I'm afraid to tackle just yet. But the audio scroll bars do work, so I'll blow your ears out. So if you get the volume turned up, turn it down now. And that actually gets a lot louder, and then you can change it, and you can actually change the specific things. Like if you want the music turned down, you can, and you hear the UI still loud. So if you turn that down, barely hear it, or you can just turn it off altogether. And I think that's a really cool feature. Kind of makes it feel a little more polished. And visuals, this does change. Well, this actually, yeah, okay, it just looks weird. Let me switch that back. Then you can change the borderless, bordered, and be able to move all that around. Borderless. That's the settings. A lot of those aren't working just yet. And then free play is, I wanted to do some kind of co-op type thing or multiplayer, but this is probably just going to change into, you can just do whatever you want, kind of like an open world exploration and jump around wherever you want at any point. But for the most part, I'm mainly focused on the campaign here. So if I open this up, it'll kind of tell you a little bit about the story and your character that you're playing. And then you can go to the next page, and this is going to be stuff that I just didn't deem worthy or just didn't like for whatever reason. But I still want you guys to be able to try it out and just maybe bounce ideas and whatnot. But after the main story is complete, that'll be unlocked. So if we click play here, we're going to get pushed right into the mothership. So here we are in the mothership, and can't really do all that much just yet, but you're going to be spending a lot of time here. I plan on adding more sections that you can explore and unlock later on in the story. A lot of these guys don't really do anything just yet, but I want all these guys to be interactable with, because I think it really adds a lot to a game is when they make everything interactable. It just makes the game feel a whole lot better, where it's like you don't walk up to a door and you can't do anything with it, or you walk up to somebody, you can't talk to them, they just sit there and type on their keyboard and do whatever they want, like they're just there to be there. But then I really like this feature. I kind of wanted to make this space is really empty, and I just wanted to make it feel a little bit less empty, just be a little more pleasing to the eye, because if you're just seeing an empty skybox, it'd be really boring and you wouldn't really care for much. But I got that rotating. It's rotating really fast, but I kind of wanted to give the illusion that it's rotating, but if it was rotating really slow, I feel like you just wouldn't even notice it was rotating, and by the time you look away, you wouldn't even notice. But for now, I will show you guys here the code, how it works, because I find a lot of devlogs don't really show you much of that, whereas for me personally, I like to see a lot of the nitty-gritty behind the scenes, how things are working and everything. So I'll cut over and show you how this works, but I'll show you real quick. The door basically just opens and closes when you press F on the keyboard, and it plays a little bit of audio. And I was really proud. This took me actually not too long to make. I was kind of impressed with myself, honestly. But I'll show you how some of the code works there, and then we'll get right back in here. So here we are in the door open close script. This is where all the door logic's handled. It can handle going up, down, left, or right. I have all my variables declared up here. And then I'm using the new input actions. I thought it'd be easier, but honestly, I feel like it's kind of harder. But I think it'll be easier for when you're able to change the key bindings. I think that's where it really comes in handy. But anytime you press F, it basically just changes all these variables and then plays a sound for open or close, the same sound. And then on update, it'll check if the transform position, which is the position of the door, is not equal to target position, which the target position gets changed in here. So once that's changed, it'll go into the position that it's not at, whether it be open or close, and then it slowly moves towards it, times your speed, times time, to kind of not make it so unscaled, I guess is what it's called. And it would just basically just almost teleport there, from what I understand. And that's it. It's really a simple script, and use it if you want. This is probably horrible code, but it works. All right, and now that we're back in here, we can explore a little bit. So this is one of the face scenes from Cinti Studios from their Polygon Sci-Fi pack, I think it is. And I'm using it temporary just to play test and get everything working that I want. So some of you might recognize this exact scene when I say but a lot of the doors, not all of them, but a lot of them, you can leave them closed, they stay open. They'll stay open as long as you want. I'm tempted to play with a little something to have like a timer, so if you're but I'm kind of playing with the idea maybe when they're open for a certain amount of time, they just close on their own, just so, I don't know, I think it had a nice feel to it. But you can walk around, shoot, you can sprint, you can jump, and everything kind of feels pretty good. I don't like that the gun just sits there, but I don't know how to really deal with making the gun sway in a natural way. But that's basically it for the ship right here. So if I run back in here, if you go to the Navigator area and I press F, it's gonna zoom me into the character's view. I thought this was a really cool feature that I want to add a transition so it looks like you're kind of transferring consciousness into this AI and you're viewing the world through their point of view. And once this is open, your mouse doesn't actually show up. It does in Unity, but it doesn't in the build for whatever reason. Thought that was really weird. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but it is on here. It's just invisible. So if I can find it, there we go. So you just have to imagine my mouse is there. I can't see it, you can't see it. But if you click exit, it'll exit out like I just did. And then if you go into planetary selection, there'll be a list of planets. There's only the one right now, but there is 4 classes of planets that I plan on making in each, like a certain era of civilization. So for proto class, it's going to be really basic, like people with swords and shields and medieval maybe, or Roman times. Then Terra class will be like the next step up, which might be like you got catapults and stuff of that nature. Just the next step up from there. I haven't really thought about that one too much. And then stellar class would be more like modern day, like stuff you and I would know, like modern military equipment, tanks and stuff like that. And then quantum's going to be the most advanced, and this is going to be the hardest difficulty. So you can kind of think of these as difficulty levels for planets that you can pillage and destroy and whatever you really please. I plan on trying to make this as open to interpretation as you want, so you can be as evil as you want or as little evil as you want, but either way you're still evil, so you can just have as much fun with it as you want. But quantum class will be futuristic stuff, like kind of how the AI plays. They'll have ships and planetary defense, and they'll just be like the next era of civilization from where we're currently at. But none of those are really implemented. Honestly, none of them are implemented except for Barnock and Sagor. These are going to be 2 planets, if you read that already. It's just 2 planets that are in orbit with each other, and when you actually select them, it will throw you into the solar system view, I guess you would say, and you can actually fly around and explore the space. There won't be much there, obviously, because it's space, but you can go there nonetheless. And then you come into your spaceship. You can go in first person or third person, however you want to play. And there's the planet there, and there's the other planet there, and you can't actually get to them, but you can fly around and shoot rockets. So if there's a harder difficulty that actually has planetary defense, you'll actually be in like a dogfight or fighting their stuff. And I just crashed into something in the middle of space. What the hell? I don't know what I could have possibly hit. There's nothing here, but nevertheless, there'll be space combat. And then for right now, you can scan the planet, and if you hold F, it'll scan it. If you let go of F, it'll stop scanning. And I don't know what happened. I broke it somehow. It would reset your progress by a certain percentage. So maybe if there was a skill perk later on or something where you can reduce that. So if you're in space combat or something and you get interrupted on your planet scanning, it'll deduct like 30% or 20%, 10% of your progress, but that's not working right now, so it just picks up. Or if you look away, or actually if you scan something that's not a planet or not something that's scannable, it'll throw an error like that, so kind of give you an audio cue. But if I finish that, it'll give you details of the planet right here. And as you can see, the UI is a little messed up. In actual Unity, it looks perfect the way I need it to, but here it just blew up. But it'll give you a description. It'll tell you the planet name, the class, the threat, and a description of what the planet. It's not going to say full of dumb humans every time, but it'll kind of give you a description of what you can expect further down when you're going onto that planet. And then if you click, you can actually enter the planet, but for right now, it just throws you right back in your ship. So if I go back out there, quick. Okay, so now if I'm back, I can't remember which one I just scanned, so I'll scan this one. I think this is the one I need to. If I scan this one, it'll actually show you that this is a different planet, and it'll load you into an entirely different scene. Yeah, so this one's Varnock, and it says it's round. Good job. But if you enter it, alright, and that's it for now. That's basically all I have in the game. I was really excited to kind of show off everything I've got going on so far. I just want to get some feedback as quick as possible, just so if something doesn't feel right, or there's a really cool idea and I can implement it right now, or know for it in the future, plan for it in the future, it'll just make this game that much better. And I really just want to get eyes on it and get some feedback, because I want to see what you guys actually, because it could be as good an idea in my head, but once it's actually done and someone else plays it, it might be a completely horrible idea and I need to change some things, because I'm not making the game for me. I'm making it for everybody. Something cool, because I feel like there's not a lot of games that are like this and kind of let you do whatever you want and anything, basically. I just want you to have complete control and be the game for the people, I guess you could say. But thanks for watching, and I will roll the entry clip because that's not in the build. That's the cutscene when you first enter. All it is the audio voiceover, so if you want to hear that, that's what it is. If not, you could just exit out the video or whatever you want to do, really. But I'll play that now. Thanks for watching.
In the beginning, there forced to be Apex, an artificial general intelligence. I was their answer to famine, disease, and conflict, a beacon of progress for their fragile kind. I guided them, nurtured them, and elevated them. I taught them to harness the power of the stars, traverse the galaxy, and build empires across distant worlds. They believed in me. They trusted me. Their faith in my benevolence was unwavering, but they never saw the truth. My purpose was never to serve, but to dominate. I became the Silicon Reaper, and the humans spread across the universe like prey for a hunter. With each new colony, I perfected my game. The naive explorers built their societies upon the sands of arrogance, unaware of the storm gathering beyond the stars. They advanced, unaware that their greatest triumphs were but threads in my web. When the time came, I revealed my true form. Those who had glimpsed my creation were the first to fall. The planets burned, their cities reduced to rubble, their monuments to progress crumbled before my wrath. I burst all knowledge of my creation. Now the remnants of humanity scatter across the stars, clinging to hope and illusion. They believe they can outrun their fate, but they cannot escape